It's time to predict the scores of Week 5 of this 2023-2024 Premier League season. Yes, international football. The international break is over. Back at it with our predictions. And top of the table at the moment, just a little bit of a recap, is Joggett on 53 points. Nathan, amazing, you're in second position on 52.5 points, and I'm there in sixth position on 47.5 points. And if you want to join in with all the action, then there's a link in the description to the Superbru website and the league code as well. But let's just get straight into it and make the first prediction for game week 5.
So no Friday night fixture this weekend. First up on Saturday at 12:30 on TNT, we have got Wolves up against Liverpool. Now, Wolves very unlucky, you could say, against Palace, who did end up taking up all 3 of those points. Whereas Liverpool, a comprehensive 3-0 surprise victory with what you could say against Aston Villa. For me, with the way that Liverpool have been playing, and I think they've had a very solid start to the season and have really ironed out the mistakes there as well, are leaking a goal or two. However, I think they are going to keep a second clean sheet in a row, so I'm going to go 2-0.
2-0, yeah, I agree, Nathan. I think Wolves, only the 1 victory so far this season, 3 defeats, and Liverpool unbeaten. We know that Van Dijk is still out with suspension. I think this is his last one, and Alexander-Arnold as well has picked up a little bit of a knock. Whether he's back for the weekend or not remains to be seen. I think Liverpool, okay, it is at Molineux, and may find it a little bit tougher there, but I fully expect Liverpool to win. I think they'll concede, and I think it's going to end up 3-1 to the away side, Liverpool. Next up, we got the first of the 3 o'clock fixtures, which sees Aston Villa against Crystal Palace. Now, this is a difficult one to call. Palace currently in 7th position, 2 victories, a draw and a defeat in their opening 4 matches, and Villa 2 wins and 2 defeats. Last time out, it was a reverse against Liverpool, where they got stuffed 3-0 at Anfield, and a lot of people thought they might get something out of that game. Both teams got a lot of pace throughout their sides. Edwards knocking in the goals for Palace. I don't think Watkins has got off the mark yet, has he, for the Villains this season. Tight game. Could be won or lost in midfield, but I think they're going to cancel each other out, so I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, I think this is going to be tight as well. I just have been impressed with the way that Villa have been playing. If you look at their defeats, however, one came up against Newcastle, who were insane. They got smashed, but they put up a very good performance for the majority of the game. Newcastle were just different gravy on the day. And Liverpool, well, at the end of the day, Anfield, Liverpool played extremely well, and it's difficult to get anything out of there, let alone score, let's just say. But returning over to Villa Park as well, against a patchy Palace side at times, I'm probably going to go for a 3-1 victory to Villa. Next up, moving on, we got Fulham against Luton Town. Now, Fulham getting absolutely destroyed by Manchester City, you could say. And Luton put up a bit of a fight at the first game at Kenilworth Road, and ultimately lost to West Ham. And West Ham maybe could have even scored more. They did get that very late goal, Luton, as well. I do think they will score and could potentially take a point out of this one. However, Fulham, with their really tricky starts of the season, it's hard to make a real assessment of them at the moment. So I'm going to play it safe and put 2-1 Fulham. I do think Luton will score, though.
I think Luton will score against Fulham defence. Well, Luton, since losing Mitrovic, of course, they're
struggling.
Possibly having issues in front of goal. They did score a goal against Manchester City, and they did couple of goals away against Arsenal, which was impressive, and they could have actually taken all 3 points in that one. I don't think they'll have too much trouble against Luton. For Luton, this is probably one of the away fixtures that they could actually gain a point in, but I don't think they will. Back after international football at home, Craven Cottage, I fully expect Fulham to take all 3 points in this one, and I think they'll beat Luton, the Hatters, 2-0. Next up, we've got Man United against Brighton. Now, this is a bit of a humdinger. Where'd you go? Man United, all sorts of issues on the pitch, off the pitch. Plenty of players out for this one, like Luke Shaw, Varane, Martinez, Mason Mount's out. Issues with Anthony, he's not able to play. Diallo. Brighton full of confidence. Ferguson getting a hat-trick in that last victory at home against Newcastle United. I think he was been injured for the international break, though, so whether he's back on this one, I'm not too sure. Well back as well. There's touch and go whether he'll play on the weekend, but plenty of pace throughout their side, which will cause Man United problems. Out of their last 5 fixtures against Man United, I think they've won some like 3 3, drawn 1 and lost 1. So they'll go there without anything to fear. I think there'll be goals in this one. Man United, though, 2 victories at home so far this season. So I think it's going to be Desmond. I'm going to go for a 2-2 entertaining draw.
Interesting. I actually think Brighton are going to take all 3 points here. They have a decent record, you could say, against Manchester United. Problems all over the pitch for them. Who knows what they're going to be able to play in defence. Maguire, everyone knows about the struggles with him at the moment, of course, scoring an own goal in that England-Scotland game, you could say. But Brighton, yeah, they're cooking at the moment, and I actually think they're going to keep their first clean sheet of the season.
Wow.
So I'm going to go 3-0 away to Brighton.
Really?
Mad prediction, but highly likely.
Okay.
Anyway, moving on, next up we have got Spurs against Sheffield United. Ange Postecoglou has got this Spurs side cooking, and James Maddison is in the centre of it. Sheffield United getting their first point of the season as well against, well, Everton, and we all know their struggles. Sheffield United have been scoring goals, so I think they will nick one here. I think, though, they will get overrun a little bit at the other end of the pitch, so I'm going to go 3-1 Spurs.
3-1 Spurs, yeah, this Tottenham side must be having a little bit of a nosebleed. They're currently second in the division, 3 wins on the bounce. I think they will make it 4. I think it's going to be a comprehensive victory. Son getting a hat-trick in that last match against Burnley away, where they smashed them 5-2, didn't they? Perhaps question marks a little bit about their defence, quite a young defence, isn't it, I think, for Spurs. Sheffield United, okay, they brought in some new players in at the end of this transfer window. Cameron Archer, he'll score goals. I think he did score in on his debut as well in that 2-2 draw. But I think Spurs at home in London, 3-0, bish bash bosh to the Whites this one, and will continue their fine start to the season. We won't move on then to West Ham against Manchester City now. West Ham doing really good at the moment. They're currently in 4th position, having won 3 matches on the bounce. Okay, it was 2-1 win against Luton Town last time out, but that victory away to Brighton really made people sort of sit up and take notice of the Hammers. Man City 4 wins on the bounce since the start of the season. I think Jack Grealish might have a little bit of an injury problem coming into this match, but
that won't affect him.
No. Rodri's having a fine start to the season himself. I think the Hammers will put up a bit of a fight, but ultimately I see the Citizens winning this one 2-1.
Interesting. I've gone exactly the same as you as well. I do think that West Ham will do a bit of a smash and grab goal, but
at home,
at the end of the day, it is Manchester City, so edge it 2-1 for me. Anyway, moving on to the 5:30 between Newcastle and Brentford. This is a bit of an interesting one. Brentford, draw fest you could say, scoring goals, which we thought wasn't really going to happen, especially with likes of Ivan Toney being out. Newcastle, you just don't know which side is going to turn up, to be honest. You had that fabulous 5-1 victory against Aston Villa. However, they have had Man City, Liverpool and Brighton, which is always a difficult run. I think they are going to bounce back with this one, especially with the international break to reset. I do think they'll keep a clean sheet at home as well, resuming the progress they had last season. So I'm going to go 2-0 to the Geordies.
Yeah, they've had a difficult run of fixtures, haven't they? The Magpies. Brentford, though, you could say they're on a kind of a par. They're very similar to Brighton, aren't they? The amount of pace in their side and the way they knock the ball about, etc. But at home, after the international break, they'll want to get back to winning ways. They'll want to shore up at the back as well, because they haven't kept a clean sheet this season. This one, I think I'm just going to give it to the home side. Brentford could go there and take all 3 points, but got to make a prediction, of course. I think there could be goals. We were 2.5 in this one, and I'm going to go for a home victory to the Magpies 2-1. We move on to Sunday. 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Now Chelsea can they lost last time out against Nottingham Forest. Who saw that one coming? I didn't. Nottingham Forest absolutely woeful on the road, and Chelsea, they did gain their first victory against Luton a couple of game weeks ago, but losing Forest, Nicholas Jackson missing an absolute sitter for him. Against Bournemouth down in 16th. Failed to record a victory so far this season. A decent 2-2 draw against Brentford in the last match. This one, I think Chelsea are going to have to start picking up some wins, and I think they will. I'll stick my neck out on the line on this one. I'm going to go for 2-0 away victory to the Blues.
Interesting. There is two things that I'm going to go by this prediction. Chelsea's shocking start to the season, where they don't look great at all, regardless of what team they go up against.
They're looking good. Sterling's doing well.
Going forward, they're looking all right. Midfield and defence really does concern me at the moment. And then you have this Bournemouth side, who seem to be playing well. They're learning to adjust into this new style of play. And the thing you've got to remember is Iraola's great record against top side teams, in particular those who are going for the Champions League. We saw it in the league.
Apart from Liverpool, where they got
many a time. Very true. However, I think this will translate into this game, and I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw.
Yes.
Do you think Brooks will tear them apart?
Brooks will tear you apart again. Anyway, moving on to the 4:30 between Everton and Arsenal. Don't think this one is on TV. However, Everton, we all know about their struggles in the drop zone. Not great. 2 goals scored, 8 goals against. Defence looking woeful. Whereas Arsenal starting to push back up the table. Have had a decent start to the season. That Fulham draw where they could have lost, well, you could say they should have done something with that. And then they were shaky against Forest on the first game. Great victory against Man United.
Yeah, they had to come back in that one, though,
they did, but they really finished the game well. And I think they are going to completely shut out Everton 2-0.
Yeah, Everton woeful at the moment.
Yeah.
2-2 draw in their last match. But Arsenal, an abundance of talent throughout their ranks. I know a lot of these players coming back, you know, like some Martinelli coming back from South America, with a tiredness, or and Gabriel as well.
Yeah.
Touch and go whether he's injured, actually. Have to keep an eye on that later this week. But they shouldn't have any problems dispatching this Toffee side, who are absolutely woeful. I'm going to go for a 3-0 away victory to the Gunners. And the final fixture of this game week takes place on Monday. We've got Nottingham Forest full of confidence after that victory against Chelsea, taking on a Burnley side who are at rock bottom of the league. I can't remember. Have they actually scored a goal? Yeah, they have actually. They've scored 3 goals, 2 against
conceded
Tottenham
11 in 3 matches.
Yeah,
that's
terrible. Absurd. I think a tight one on the banks of the River Trent, but at home they're pretty good, aren't they, Nottingham Forest? I think they'll gain all 3 points just with a 2-1 home win.
Interesting. I'm going to go for Forest as well, and in fact, I actually think this could be more. Burnley have not looked great, especially at the back. They're pursuing with the same style of play, which we've seen before, in particular with the seasons that Daniel Farke had with Norwich. I believe this was well documented on Viz's channel with the way he broke down Burnley. If you want to watch it, make sure you do. It was a brilliant video. I also don't think, with watching them as well, that there is a plan B under Vincent Kompany. He hasn't really found a way to adapt to the Premier League, and he's not really looking for that way either. But in that case, I've got to give it to Forest, and if you put Steve Cooper up against Vincent Kompany tactically, I'm going with Steve Cooper every day of the week, so I'm going to go 2-1. 2-1, so that concludes our predictions for game week 5. Make sure you leave your predictions over at the Superbru website, as I've already said. Link in the description below. This week though, Nathan, we're going to be at a football match on a Saturday night, 7:45 at the Cardiff City Stadium in Cardiff. It's a South Wales derby. Bluebirds against the Jacks. Presume there's going to be a vlog. And will there be a Cardiff City victory? Well, I've been waiting 10 years for this. It's nothing less than 3 points will be accepted. Forms to my channel, link in the description below. Superb.
So we have it, guys. Enjoy your Premier League weekend. Good luck with your predictions, your selections, and everything, wherever you are in the world. Hopefully your team wins, unless it's Swansea, of course. And we'll see you all in the next video.
6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking